Confirm. Still don't understand why that's necessary to have that on there, but okay. Hanging on. What am I hanging on to? Click. Yes? Oh, you're welcome. Uh, okay. That's I am. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal, okay? Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Okay, wow. That's kind of amazing. I was wondering if the time setup thing, because you didn't see it when we first did this, if the time thing was going to have anything to do with anything, but whatever. Anyway, howdy, gals and pals. It's me, Tiffany, and we're back with more Stanley Parable. Yeah, that's very okay. So this really does retain everything, and it goes with it. And now I'm curious.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
It's like I could.
Stanley worked for a company
part,
in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Okay, we're gonna skip it because we already saw it, but I got achievement unlocked. Welcome back. So this just really does recall. Now, there was something previously where he talked about how in one of the iterations, like I overheard him talking about it, that if you did nothing, something would happen. Like you just stayed still. So I'm wondering if that will happen here. If I'm just wasting my time sitting at the computer and nothing happening, we'll cut all of this. But it's kind of reminiscent to an actual desk job and how things that we do are ultimately meaningless.
Approximately 10 hours later.
I think we've wasted enough time. Okay, we're just gonna go. Just go.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Everything
what could
else.
It mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Straight. Nope. That's not straight. That's a wall. We're gonna go straight to the meeting room.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Speed run!
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone?
Speed run!
Decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
And off. Alright, there we go. We happy, Mr. Narrator Man? I did what you wanted. I was an obedient little girl. I did the good things. Wasn't as fun as messing around.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
No.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
I'd like to go there for real. Achievement unlocked. Beat the game. Am I gonna end up back in the office? Yeah. Okay, let's go. Now I want to see what happens if I answer the phone call.
What could it mean?
So we're gonna try the phone call, and then after the phone call,
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Honey?
She's been waiting.
Honey? Honey!
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach...
I did it. I did it. Honey?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside.
That I'm unlovable?
Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What? Huh?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Well,
now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Press different button. Press different button. Okay. Do I have to? Okay, fine.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Well, maybe he should be a writer then. He's got a good imagination.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
You're better than a...
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm not doing it. Look, I'm being obedient, Mr. Narrator Man. Let's watch the clock go.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Well, the minute hand's gone all the way around. See, I was good. I didn't press the button for a long time.
You see? Can he just not hear me?
I
How
heard
can I
you.
tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Press G to question nothing. Did I press H, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Oh, that got dark.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
I didn't like that. Okay, we're gonna see real quick. If I go back through that
All of his co-workers were
and
gone.
I go,
What could
I
it
answer the
mean?
phone.
Stanley
but if I
decided to
don't-
go to the
can
meeting
I,
room.
Is it possible
Perhaps
for me
he had
to
simply
not
missed a
go
memo.
in to my wife at that
When
point?
Stanley came to a set of
Now, we're gonna try to escape.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
No.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a
I go.
loving wife?
I'll
Who'd
go
want to
down.
commit their life to you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Yes! Ah!
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
I can't go down the hall? No! Ah. Okay. Now we go down the stairs. Boom.
Who coming to a staircase,
Farewell.
Stanley walked upstairs to
No.
his boss's office.
What did I write? What did I write? It's a note. Anyone zoom in on that and read that? I swear it's an actual readable note. Too bad zoom in enhanced cliches don't work
But
in real life.
Stanley just couldn't
It's
do
a
it.
car!
He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley.
What?
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Yes.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all, none of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
I mean, this is,
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Well.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Oh.
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
I hear it.
And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
No.
Everything will be fine.
Normal is an illusion in of
I
itself.
am okay.
Normal is just the basis upon who surrounds you. You faced a wall.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh. Darkness. Hello, darkness.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella! Hello.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
What happened to calling the ambulance?
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
New dialogue? New dialogue.
Oh, please.
Okay, so
Are you really
that's
just
bad.
doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Hello. What is this? Where are we going? Oh.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Shiny.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Me too. Yee.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Why does that make me suspect?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Okay. Do I get to learn how to jump now?
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Ah, I can jump! Wait. Will I not to be able to jump if I get out of this circle? Well, let's use them up. No more jumps.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
I go back? has taught me anything, it's don't go a straight line.
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more.
It's so good.
Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something
I
else.
have a feeling that's
Let's
going to
see
be
it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
more menial kind of stuff.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
I feel like you're gaslighting me. Ooh. It didn't go back to normal. Narrator man, where are you?
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
What? Hold on. Ooh. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm about to fall, aren't I? Cannonball!
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
What did you do?
Just our little secret.
What did you
Take
do?
a look.
Ah. Going the right way? There. Ooh.
Tyler here, saying thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, tap that like button. If not, go ahead and hit the dislike button. I'll just try not to cry myself to sleep tonight. It's fine. If you want to see more videos and help me not starve, please click subscribe. You guys rock. Much love from the Choose the Mouse team, and we'll see you next time. Peace.